So let's look at scoping, or in another case, branching our code. So first off, I'd like to say that I included the std_bool library, just because we're going to be working with the Boolean data type, which will either be true or false. Therefore, I included the std_bool library so I'm able to use that data type. So branching your code or scoping it essentially just means that you're only having code ran in a certain area or a certain scope. What I mean by that is, if you look right here, I have an if expression. If b is true, which it is, then printf is going to run inside of this block within these squiggly lines. Only this code will be ran for this condition. And right here, I have another if condition if c. Because c is false, whatever I would write inside of the block right here will not run. Will not run because it's going to be skipped because C is false. So otherwise, this is going to be printed, and as we can see right here, if we compile and run this. Oh, sorry, I ran the wrong command. main.c-o out and out. So as we can see here, yep, B is true, C is false. And so if you look right here, the reason why we get the output is because, again, C is false. Therefore, whatever is in this block will not be ran. I have my else condition right here, which is going to run if this if condition is evaluated to false. This is going to run because this is the fallback sort of evaluation. If this doesn't run, then else this will. Another thing I'd like to note is the switch condition. The switch condition is going to be sort of like the if expressions. However, it's going to take an actual variable, and it's going to jump to whatever value we have declared. So in this example, num is equal to 3. So num has the value of 3. It is not equal to 1 right here. As you learn more about cases or the switch block, these cases are going to be values it's going to check whether or not we have a case for our specific values. And so in this case, because 3 is what num is equal to, and that's the variable that we're switching, it's going to jump to our third case because it's the same value as 3. And if I change this to 2, then it's going to run this block. If I change it to 1, it's going to run this block. And if I change it to something like 0 or 10 or 100, it's going to run the default block because none of these are the same value. None of these cases are the same value as this number. So if I did 100, then this this default case will be what is run, and as you can see, it is the same right there. So essentially what all this is leading up to, or rather what the entire point of all this is to teach you about scoping. So if I delete these lines, if I put an int a equals 5 or 3, and then I put in more switch blocks in here, well, whatever is in these, or if I put in, not switch block, if I put in another curly brace pair, essentially I can run code in here, or rather here, I can show you a different example right here. Int a equals 4, and then what if I wanted to print this? I can do %d and then a. Just declare the identifier. Yep. See, as you can see, it's unable to find my identifier because it is not in the same scope. It's not in these curly brackets, so therefore it can't find it. It's in these curly brackets. So in order to print this value, we would need to put the printf statement inside the same block of code that our integer is in. So print f and then %d a, and then our code will run. As you can see, we have 4 printed out right here. So again, just to recap, so the way you limit the scope of your code is through these curly braces. and therefore any code that you have inside the curly braces will not be able to interact with the code outside of the curly braces. So again, if I have int a right here and I had my print statement outside of the same curly brackets, then it won't be able to find it because it's not in the same scope. And so that was a short bit of an introduction to if statements, switch cases, and scopes all in one lesson. I know this is probably a handful of information to take in at once, but trust me, just going through the lessons, you will figure it out, or it will come easier to you the more you do it.